What's up, ladies and gentlemen, Stephman here, manager of Free to Play alongside Ambraxis, and welcome to Dota Done Bad. So here's the premise: I'll be recording first plays of every hero using in-game suggested builds. I'll be giving first impressions of each hero, and it will all be done using random draft, meaning the computer will select 3 heroes for me and I will have to pick between those 3. So I'm going to put myself at a massive disadvantage for all you lovely people and give you my newbie first impressions of each hero. I've only played about 15 games thus far, and the only real MOBA experience I've got is in League of Legends, which I played for about a year, so this will be interesting. You'll either see me improve a lot throughout the course of this series, or you will see me wallow in pity and despair as the series progresses, so I will catch you on the flip side. So this is the way this will work. We'll discuss the character in general first, and then we will get down to gameplay and you can see how badly I've done. So we're going to be talking about Kunkka today, as he's the first hero random draft through it, and let's get into it. So Kunkka, also known as the Admiral, is primarily a disabler, an initiator, a carry, and durable. So what does this mean? Disabler means he's got a variety of stuns and slows he can use against the enemy. Initiator means he can be very sturdy and jump into the enemy to absorb their first attacks. A carry means that he's one of the people that needs to farm the most, so the support will be allowing him to get the farm so he levels up quicker, gets more gold, because he's a very item dependent character. And durable means he can be very, very tanky. So let's get into the fun stuff. Abilities. So the first ability the Admiral, as we'll call him now, has is a torrent, which is a ground targeted AoE. If you don't know what this means, it basically means you click on the ground somewhere, it goes off and it will hit any units within an area. So torrent, what does it do? You put it on the ground, it has about a 1 second delay, and then it erupts a big torrent of water that will slow the enemy and hurt them. So what does the description say? An ancestral rush of water explodes from the centre of the world, called upon by the Admiral. Okay, so that's ability 1. Then we have Tidebringer. Kunkka's legendary sword grants increased damage and cleaves a large area of effect in front of him for a single strike. So what does this mean? This is an automatic ability that's automatically triggered on a cooldown. So basically it's a passive. It recharges every so many seconds and then you will do big AoE damage. And the description says a lost cladish soul inhabits Kunkka's trusty Tidebringer, empowering it to destroy demons of the cataract. Next up we have X marks the spot. You can basically cast this on a friendly or an enemy hero, and after several seconds it will teleport them back to where you cast it on. So this can be useful if you're putting down the tidal, because you can cast it on the enemy and they can run off, and you can hit the button again to return them when the 1 second cast time is up on tidal, and it will hit them for splash damage and a stun, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty fun ability to screw around. And finally we have Ghost Ship. So basically it's another ground AoE. You hit a point on the ground, a massive ghost ship charges to that point and will hit and stun enemy units on the way, and will also give them damage, movement speed reduction, and all sorts of good stuff. It's a really cool ability. So anyway, let's get into gameplay and see how I did. So as you can see from this, the computer randomly chose me 3 heroes, which were Anti-Mage, Kunkka and a Witch Doctor, of which I obviously chose Kunkka because he's a seafaring badass. So what you're seeing now is, as soon as I got into game, I went into the builds and I picked a build, which was Edda's Guide to Slamming with Kunkka, and it worked out okay. I wasn't
very confident in it, to be honest, because it's got a lot of usage items, which are basically items that you don't tend to find in leagues and stuff like that are activatable all the time and have certain cooldowns and a lot of effects on them and things like that, such as the boots, which give you a speed boost, and the sword, which I picked up, which makes you invisible for a few seconds and also provides a speed boost and a critical on your first attack out of invisibility. And we also had the urn for the healing and the wand for self-healing. So it was pretty complicated, honestly. I found it pretty difficult to play with. The starting items, I took all of them. Took the boots, the urn, the wand, the sword, as you can see, and the exile items are the ones I didn't manage to acquire. I managed to acquire one of the rapiers, but it was very late game. So early game with this hero I found pretty difficult, not necessarily because the hero was difficult to play early game, it actually wasn't that bad. Last hitting's really easy because of the ability that does the AoE and the crit. So last hitting was really easy. The problem more lied with our Templar Assassin, who decided they were going to chill out in the jungle for 5 minutes, do up on mid for a bit, and then eventually come down to me. So that was a bit of a pain in the arse, especially not knowing the hero. So I ended up going through all my tangos very quickly, not getting a lot of gold very early, and it went from there. But things did improve later in the match. Now, as you'll see in a minute in a little montage I'll put together, I did really struggle with the skill shots. It's using the activatable items and the skill shots at the same time and managing how long it takes to cast each thing or what the delay is on it casting. I really found it difficult with this hero, but I can imagine this hero is a hell of a lot of fun after a few games with him, after you get used to those things, because the ability to grief the other team is something that can make Dota a wonderful thing. So let's throw down my little montage. We'll start off with the splash. So, as you can see, I'm pretty much a failure when it comes to these skill shots, which is weird because in LoL my main used to be Olaf, which is all about the skill shots for the slows and stuff, and I used to do really well with him. But something just wasn't clicking here. I wasn't leading my shots properly, I wasn't using my X marks as spot effectively to teleport them back into the radius of my AoEs. It was just a whole lot of fail on my part. The hero, like I said before, I imagine would be amazing fun if you could play him well, but I just couldn't. I might actually play him a couple more times in a normal select match just to see what I can do with him with a little bit of practice. But yeah, I was pretty much an epic failure when it came to using the skill shot system and keeping on top of my cooldowns for the items I selected, so I've still got a long way to go in learning that. Now, before I wrap up and give my final impressions on this hero from a noob's perspective, I want to talk about one more item, which is this healing urn. It's probably my favourite thing in the entire item list right now. So basically it gives you a really fast health regen. It recharges every time a hero dies and every time an enemy hero dies, and can hold up to 6 charges. And little did I know, but you can actually use it on your allies. That's my fault for not reading the item description properly. And as you'll see here, I just worked that out and I end up doing quite a nice little happy dance as Templar Assassin gets to nearly full health from 1 charge off the urn, which is pretty amazing, and I'll definitely be picking that item up again on other tombs. So let's get on to my final thoughts on the Admiral. The Admiral is an amazing character to play. He seems like he'd be a lot of fun in the hands of a more skilled player than I, and he's definitely one I'm going to revisit in the future when I know a little bit more about the game and I can actually aim skill shots, because that would be a big help. Item wise and guide wise, I found the guide to be pretty damn good. Itemization was pretty good. The ghost sword was very handy for sneaking in and getting that first crit off. Boots for escape and for running back to the post after I had to go to back to the mana pool once or twice to recharge. So all in all, an excellent hero and an excellent guide, and one that I'll be revisiting again very, very soon. So if you guys want the full match uploading with commentary so you can see just how terrible I was and give me some advice, let me know. Once again, I've been Steph for Free to Play. If you'd like to submit your own videos to the Free to Play channel, there will be a link in the description, and if you want to play some Dota sometime, let me know, because this is a game I will be spending a lot of hours in. I'll catch you later.